where we do anticipate there to be some interruptions, some headaches are on the highways and on the roads as the former president travels to the jail. We also know that there's a Falcons football game right now that is set to kick off at 7:30 tonight. So a lot going on in the city as the former president travels here. Andrew Wilson has been tracking those routes and what we can expect out there on the roads, Andrew.
Well, Jennifer, you know, the airport is not very close to the Fulton County Jail, so this motorcade is going to have to make its way up through the city and then eventually up towards that Fulton County Jail. It's about 14.1 miles away from the airport itself. Taking a look down towards the airport again, the former president is expected to arrive at Hartsfield-Jackson. He's going to be taking off from Newark here pretty soon. The ramp closures are likely going to be an issue along the way of the route as the motorcade makes its way through, and we're thinking that it's going to be maybe one of two routes that could be possible here. It's going to make its way up the downtown connector, either west on I-20 over to Joseph E. Lowery Boulevard and then making its way up to the north, or still staying on the downtown connector closer on up towards North Avenue, where it could then cut over to the Fulton County Jail. Again, that's about 14.1 miles. Now, I'm thinking it'll likely go towards Joseph E. Lowery Boulevard. The reason why I say that is because you see how backed up the downtown connector already is, and it's likely just going to get even worse here as we get closer on to the evening commute. Also, those surface streets likely going to be really backed up there, and down near those surface streets, we'll toss things over to Molly Oak. And Molly, I understand you're over near Donald E. Donald E. Hollowell Boulevard or Park.
Yeah, and only about a block or two from Joseph E. Lowery as well. Now, of course, we don't know which route the former president, will take. But in addition to that rush hour that everyone's going to be dealing with, we also have the Falcons' final preseason game. So just for a certain perspective of where we are, we're about 1.5 miles from the Benz and 1 mile from the jail. We've seen this road kind of consistently getting backed up as traffic continues on through and gets stopped at this light. Likely to get worse as we get closer to 6 o'clock. Now, what we do know is Donald Lee Howell intersects the two fastest routes to get there. A law enforcement officer who's worked presidential visits before says Mr. Trump would likely take one of the quickest routes. Now, I also caught up with the former DeKalb County Public Safety Director. He says even though this is a former president's visit, there are security protocols that will go into place the minute his plane touches down.
It will be an event that will, in many ways, certainly halt traffic and impede traffic in and throughout the community. And it's probably best for people to make sure that they stay alerted through the media and through any other sources that they can to not go into other certain areas, particularly during certain times of the day.
Now, as for just exactly what roads he will take, that's likely not something we'll know until right before it happens. My law enforcement source says it'll be like something we've seen before with other sitting presidents who have come to visit. You see those rolling closures where they go about 1 mile in advance, close those roads off until the motorcade comes through. Jennifer, over to you.
All right, Molly, thank you so much. And as you can see on your screen right now, this is just some of the law enforcement presence that we are seeing out here at this airfield as we prepare for the former president to make his way here to Atlanta. We are not quite sure if he will be making remarks once he departs from Fulton County Jail after that booking process, but we will be here throughout the evening to keep you updated with the very latest. Jeff and Faith, back to you.